Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Ignite News from the journalism students at Mohawk College. I'm Nick Heinknapp.
And I'm Kareem Mosnow.
This week marked yet another Remembrance Day. It also marked the 100-year anniversary of World War I.
With the passing of Corporal Nathan Cirillo in Ottawa, Hamiltonians have been reflecting on the debt that we owe our armed forces.
It was a solemn occasion as Mohawk's McIntyre Theatre filled with people proud to remember those who have served their country. Among the crowd were many members of Canada's armed forces.
Remembrance Day is basically something to remember the fallen soldiers. I myself, my grandfather was in World War II, so it's a time to remember him and the men that he worked with.
To me, it's about remembering those who have fallen and those who are currently serving as well. A lot of it comes down to personal connections I've made throughout my Air Cadet career, as well going into my military career, hopefully. As well, doing volunteer and charity organizations and work, I've met a lot of great individuals, and it's remembering those people who have sacrificed a lot.
To me, Remembrance Day is about coming together and remembering all the veterans and those who came before me and sacrificed their lives for the peace we enjoy in Canada.
Keynote speaker veteran Donald Lamond shared his gratitude for those who have served their country.
It means to remember my father, who served in the First World War, come back deaf and blind, never heard me speak, never seen me, and his brother, who never came back at all from the First World War, and my grandfather and whatnot that fought in the War of 1812 and stuff like that. It makes me very proud to be a Canadian.
The ceremony took a moment to remember the service of Corporal Nathan Cirillo.
It was a tragedy, yes, but it's part of our job. It's part of what we sign up to do. I mean, we put ourselves in the line of fire so that other people can enjoy their freedoms and safeties.
The event concluded with the entire theater coming together to sing our national anthem. For Ignite News, I'm Kai Williamson.
Starting from the Hamilton Armory, the Royal Hamilton Light Infantry and the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders of Canada, cadets, reserves, and veterans marched to show their support for the men and women who have served our country and fought for our freedom. People crowded the streets to not only remember those who are no longer with us, but to show their thanks for the men and women who are willing to put their lives at risk to defend the freedom of all. Brigadier General David Patterson and President of Hamilton Signal Association Ken Lloyd share their thoughts on the parade, honor, and freedom.
It's the first time I've attended the parade in Hamilton. I just assumed my duties as the Deputy Commander of 4th Division about a month ago, so I was invited down to attend the ceremony yesterday at the Hamilton Tiger Cats last game, where they awarded the medals to the veterans, and then stayed today for the Remembrance Sunday event. It's a very impressive parade. The City of Hamilton really supports the military, and I was here last week for Corporal Cirillo's funeral as well, and both of those events you really see the spirit of Hamilton supporting their troops. A lot of people here, a lot of people on the streets, and a lot of supporters very evident on the streets today. It's a great honor for me to be here to represent the Canadian Forces and to meet the veterans of the regiments that served our country in all of our wars.
I think you'll find that there's a growing awareness of what it means to protect the freedom that we have. And when people do attack our freedom, then it's our duty to defend it. And I think people want to show their support.
Although this year's Remembrance Day is over, let us remember every day those who serve our country and its people. For Ignite News, I'm Elaine Morris.
Right well!
Veterans and spectators alike gathered at City Hall for the Remembrance Day ceremony on November 11th. Veterans were honored to participate in the ceremony.
Remembrance Day always means something to me. Both my parents, my mother and my father, were in the service during the Second World War. My dad was a Riley and my mother was in the Royal Air Force. And so it has a special meaning to me, and to be able to take part reciting in Flanders Fields really makes me proud. It's something my dad did when he was chairman of the Hamilton Veterans Committee, and it's something I want to do to carry on his legacy.
Many people showed up to pay tribute to Corporal Nathan Cirillo and to their own family members who fought for our country.
This year in particular, with what happened in Quebec and in Ottawa, Cirillo being a local boy, my uncle's also, he's a veteran of the Korean War, and he can't attend anymore. Like, today is a beautiful day, but he just doesn't know, right? So I attend on his behalf.
Sitting low-key near the back of those gathered was Corporal Nathan Cirillo's father, who thinks Remembrance Day should be a stat holiday.
I think this is a very important day for Canada, and we celebrate Family Day, and I believe this is just as big as Family Day, if not bigger.
November 11th to many is a very special day, but this year seems to hit closer to home.
This one's a little more meaningful with recent incident in Ottawa. I think our serving members of the forces are a lot more important and maybe in the forefront. And of course, I'm thinking of all of the people who have given their lives and who are currently serving our country. So it's a servants of remembrance, but it's also here to honor those who give their lives in service.
Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Christina Costable.
Many of the world's most prominent figures have been featured on TED Talks. Now Mohawk will be embracing an abbreviated version of that, TEDx, this coming week. Megan Adams has more.
That the HIV/AIDS pandemic was directly affecting
TEDx is a global phenomenon that has inspired many people with new and timeless ideas. Mohawk College is bringing the TEDx event to its Fennel campus for a second run. Atul Rao, professor of media and communications at the college, says they'll be discussing local issues with global implications.
This year, our theme is Grassroots Future. How do the experts in our area envision the future for us? Not your dystopian Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator 2 kind of craziness, but more like, what's life going to be like, really?
TEDx will have 3 experts at Mohawk to discuss technology, entrepreneurship, and more.
We have an incredible list of guests. We have one person talking about now the 3D printing technology. We only see a small fraction of what's out there through our internet and our television and whatnot. So these are 3 people that are really going to address what our future is going to look like, and it's going to be fantastic.
Rao says one of the guest speakers will discuss a new way for us to connect with parts of the world we don't normally see.
Students are going to be able to see where they're headed. Here you are at Mohawk College contemplating your future. You will be future ready from your training, but even more so, you need to see what it is you're walking into and how you might adapt.
TEDx Mohawk College will be open to all students and any member of the community who is interested.
It's going to take place here at our own Mohawk College broadcast center. We'll be using the big studio.
Tickets are only $10 each for students or not, and it's an event worth checking out. For Ignite News, I'm Elisa Piccirillo.
Our video game reviewer Steven Sobot recently took a look at a game called Depth, where you get to fight against all the sharks in the deep blue sea. But not only do you get to fight against them, but you get to be one. Here's Steven's review.
Sharks aren't scary. Sorry, let me start again. Sharks aren't that scary. I'm telling you, sharks aren't that scary. Oh, I thought I was gonna be mauled. Well, Depth is an online and offline team-based survival game developed by Digital Confectioners. You either play as a diver or a shark, in first-person or third-person perspective, respectively. The divers are using a robot to search for lost treasure off the coast while the sharks are attacking them. It's never really explained why the sharks are angry, but they are. The teams are divided in 2 groups, 4 divers and 2 sharks. Since the sharks are physically more powerful than the divers have a small assortment of guns and accessories to choose from. Divers are also always playing a defensive role, protecting the robot. Because of this, the easiest and most effective strategy for the divers is to hide and camp out. While the sharks can sense where the divers are, that doesn't mean they have a massive advantage when your opponents are holed up, watching every entrance into the sunken ruins. The sharks aren't completely useless though. When playing as the shark, you can lunge towards the divers, devouring them in your mouth. Divers can fight back, but you can kill them quicker if you wag the mouse around. For every kill you get, you net a point which you can use to upgrade your health regeneration, sensory abilities, and damage resistance. Divers instead get money to buy newer and better guns. The role of the shark is initially really hard, but if you coordinate your attacks with your teammate, you can incapacitate 2 of the divers, leaving the other 2 to deal with 2 massive killer sharks. Map is laid out well enough to have all kinds of alcoves and openings for the sharks to rush in and out of quickly. This game feels quite a bit like Left 4 Dead, team-based, offline, but mostly online gameplay, dark, visually appealing scenery. Even both games have an irrationally feared enemy. As you probably already know, sharks aren't responsible for millions of deaths each year, and neither are zombies. Yet. Overall, the game is a new and fun experience, and gets a bit better if you had a few friends to coordinate with. Depth is available on Steam for $28.
Nick, do you consider yourself a geek?
I like Batman, but I wouldn't say so, no.
It's a good time to become one.
Oh, really?
Both Marvel and DC have recently announced plans to release a host of superhero-based movies. Yeah, going beyond just the comic books.
Oh, okay. So which one of these comic book icons do you think is going to do it best?
Our Geeking Out crew has sat down to debate the issue.
Hey, you're watching Geeking Out. I'm here with Dyson, Elaine, Jess, and I'm Elisa. Today we're going to talk about Marvel and DC because both have movies that are making their way to the big screen. And I hear, Dyson and Elaine, that you're big Marvel fans.
Indeed.
Yep. Tell me why.
Well, the Avengers 2, which is coming out soon, there's a lot of hype going around about it. To start, Joss Whedon directed the first Avengers, and it was absolutely wonderful. And he is very well known for ripping fans' hearts out. He really gets you into the characters that he creates. So I'm nervous and excited for the second one to know how he's going to make us fall in love and then destroy us.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Marvel's new movie coming out, just because I love the way Marvel makes their movies. I'm done with DC. I'm done with it. I can't deal with the reboots anymore. They're too gritty, and it's overplayed, and I need a break from it. I'm not saying they can't come back from that, but you can't keep coming year after year with another dark reboot. It's not a reboot anymore. I'm now aware that every time you produce a movie, something horrible happens to the guy, and then he's got to, work through his struggles and fight a supervillain. I get it, but I enjoy Marvel because it moves past that. It keeps the lightheartedness, the childlike wonder of a comic book in their movies, and that's important. And I love how they make jokes in it, and you laugh and you have a good time while you watch it. Avengers, when you had Hulk smash the puny god, just smacks him into the ground. No one was expecting that, and it was hilarious. People loved it, and it wasn't. Oh, my parents are dead, so I gotta save this city, but they don't deserve me. So give me a break from that. It's too much. There's one after the other, and I like the lightheartedness, so I'm excited for that.
So Jess, on our side of this roundtable discussion, we like DC. Why do you like DC more than Marvel?
It's not that I like it more, it's just that I think that DC, Dyson is right, they've kind of screwed up a little bit because they're so dark and broody, but I think with all of these new movies coming out, they have a chance to kind of reinvent themselves, and I'm super excited and super hopeful. I'm cautiously hopeful about the Batman versus Superman flick. I think that it could be great. I'm super excited about Aquaman. It's been a long time since he's had his own kind of film. I'm super excited about that. I really think that they could be as strong of a contender in the cinematic world as Marvel. But the thing that I really like that Marvel does that I wish that DC would adopt is the continuity in their universes. So Iron Man is always Robert Downey Jr. Chris Evans is Captain America. Instead of having different people portray these well-known superheroes, I feel like they should have continuity. That said, I am extremely hopeful and extremely excited about DC's lineup, especially Justice League and especially Wonder Woman. I cannot wait for those two things to come out.
Mm-hmm. I agree with the hopeful excitedness about the Batman and Superman movie. I guess it's called Batman versus Superman?
Man of Steel 2.
Or Man of Steel 2, okay, and it's gonna have Batman and Superman in it. But I like the idea of superhero movies being dark. And I know Dyson said he liked the lighthearted part of it. But I feel like if the superhero story is like dark and kind of like sad and broody, it just makes you love the characters a little bit more. If it's lighthearted, I don't connect to them as much. Maybe that's just me. But I like for example, The Dark Knight is so like shady and sad. But I like that better than the whole lighthearted thing. Because, I mean, comedies aren't exactly my thing. And Christian Bale was so tortured. And it was good. But I think if Batman versus Superman follows that same kind of Dark Knight feel with the dark, evil kind of a thing, with good, they have to have good villains too. I feel like DC has really good villains, especially Batman villains. So if they make it, if they cross like a Dark Knight thing with the Man of Steel movie and kind of like blend those two feelings together, then it'll turn out great. But we'll see, who knows. I do agree with your universe thing, how they don't make all the characters the same from one movie to another. That's weird, because now there's Christian Bale as Batman, and there's Ben Affleck as Batman. Who is Batman? I don't even know. I'm confused. So, yeah, that's what I think. I think DC is in a good place with the whole dark thing. But, I mean, who knows how it'll turn out. You can just wait for the movie. So,
speaking of continuity,
yes.
What about the Arrow movie that's coming out? What do you guys think about them using different actors instead of Stephen Amell for Arrow?
It's terrible. I hate it. It goes with your crossover thing, how things don't line up properly with the characters. But like it sucks because Arrow is so good on TV. Arrow is such a good popular superhero show, and now that The Flash is on, it's got the same it'll, I'm sure, build to the same popularity as Arrow is. So why wouldn't you use that to like pump up your movie? Like the Justice League would be so great if eventually they'll build Batman or Ben Affleck as Batman, they'll build Henry Cavill as Superman, and then why not take these extremely popular TV characters and just mesh all that greatness together? I don't know why they wouldn't do that. Jess, what do you think?
Oh, wrap it up? Okay. Just quickly, I think that Elisa is right, and I feel like the characters are already established. People love Stephen Amell as the Green Arrow. He is the Green Arrow. People, okay, they might not love Grant Gustin, but they're slowly warming up to him as the Flash. Ezra Miller as the Flash, Ezra Miller is a fantastic actor. He was great in Perks of Being a Wallflower, but he is not the Flash. He is dark, and he is broody, and he is not Barry Allen. I'm sorry. He's just not.
A little too angsty for Barry Allen.
A little bit.
So, yeah, I guess we're hoping to see the Flash and Arrow from TV move into the movie scene, but I guess that's not going to happen. But we'll still look forward to both Marvel and DC movies. Thank you for watching Geeking Out. We'll see you next time.
Arrow still sucks.
It's hard for somebody my age or your age to fathom what it would have been like to be a part of either of the world wars.
But, you know, movies are a great way to get a glimpse of what life must have been like back then.
Kyle Williamson took a look at some must-see war movies that pay homage to those who fought in the Great Wars.
Oklahoma is where I'm from.
Remembrance Day may be on November 11th, but we should take the time to remember all year long. As November continues, here are my top World War II picks.
Go! Go!
If you're looking for action, then search no further. The Thin Red Line is one of the greatest World War II films to date. The movie is about an American troop fighting at the bloody Battle of Mount Austin. Another famous American-Japanese battle is the Battle of Iwo Jima. That brings me to my next two film picks, Letters from Iwo Jima and Flags of Our Fathers. There are multiple sides to every story, though history is normally written by the winner. Letters from Iwo Jima tells the Japanese perspective, and Flags of Our Fathers tells the American. The two are sister films directed and filmed at the same time by Clint Eastwood, making them both must-watches. Letters from Iwo Jima is mostly in Japanese, so you'll have to read subtitles. Even with the extra effort, it is worth it. Letters from Iwo Jima is the stronger of these two movies. largely because Clint Eastwood does not hold back from making you feel for the Japanese. The film truly villainizes the American troops. When I think World War II movies, I think Saving Private Ryan.
That boy's alive. We're gonna send somebody to find him, and we're gonna get him the hell out of there.
It is an iconic film that tells of a rescue mission during the invasion of Normandy. Captain Miller, played by Tom Hanks, and a group of soldiers go behind enemy lines to rescue Private Ryan. The movie is filled with a mentality that no man is left behind, and a good man is worth dying for. Saving Private Ryan is action-packed and does not shy away from the horrors of war. Band of Brothers is an 11-hour TV miniseries and a must-watch this season. It is essentially one long movie. Band of Brothers is based on the true story of Easy Company at the Battle of Normandy. It focuses on a group of soldiers trying to stay together and deals with the physical, mental, and emotional struggles brought on by war.
No mercy, no compassion, no remorse. All war depends on it.
There's another genre of World War II movies besides the battle at the front line. Holocaust movies remind us of why we had to go to war in the first place. Defiance is a bit of a crossover between life as a soldier on the front line during the Second World War and being a Jew during the Holocaust. Defiance is about a group of Polish Jewish brothers who flee to the forest to escape the Germans. However, the brothers don't simply run away. They bring the entire village with them.
What if we take all of you? With the old, the sick, there are thousands. How will we live? We will protect you.
With such a large company, Germans soon take note and a battle begins. The film focuses on the bloody battle that ensued between the Germans and this group of Jewish rebels.
This is the greatest pianist in Poland, maybe the whole world.
No one plays Chopin like you.
The Pianist is another movie based on a true story. It tells the life of Polish Jewish pianist whose life becomes a nightmare during the war. He goes from being forced into the ghetto to narrowly escaping an extermination camp, only to be forced into hiding for years. The Pianist uses a true story to show the complete and heartbreaking loss that Jewish men and women faced during the Second World War. For more movie reviews, go to ignitenews.ca. For Ignite Entertainment, I'm Kyle Williamson.
It was a big week for both the men's and women's volleyball teams, as the men were named #1 in the province and #3 in the country. This past Saturday, they played their first home game against the Conestoga Condors. Sam McFadden and I were there. After being named the 3rd best team in the country in collegiate volleyball and #1 in Ontario, one would think that playing at home for the first time would come with added pressure. But that was very visible in the determined group that never won by less than a handful of points this past Saturday at the David Braley Athletic Center. It was more or less another day at the office for the men's volleyball team. Set after set saw the Mountaineers pull away from their opponents, relentlessly fighting off attacks and giving up little en route to a sweep of the Conestoga Condors. A team effort and a win to put their record at 4-0, Coach Matthew Schnarr felt that even with the success, however, the team was still lacking in camaraderie.
I think that we need to be better teammates, and I think that some guys need a reality check in the sense that we're not going to win this as individuals, whether you're on the floor or not, that we need to bond together and figure out how to take care of each other and really be there for each other at all times.
For players, it just felt good to get the win and to play at home after opening their season with 3 games on the road.
Yeah, it's great. We had 3 home openers in other gyms, so it was nice to actually not have to travel to a match. It was just nice coming to the gym and winning 3-0 in front of your fans.
The season looks to be one of the best on record for both the men's and women's volleyball squads. For Ignite News, I'm Nick Heinknapp.
But you know, Nick, there was more than just volleyball going on at the rec center this weekend.
Ah, that's right. Both the men's and women's basketball teams were playing against our crosstown rivals at Redeemer College.
Were they up to that challenge?
I think they might have been, but I know Sean and Carlin were there to cover it and tell us how they fared.
Steph Rymack led all scorers with 25 points as the Mohawk women's basketball team overthrew the Redeemer Royals 89-64. Mohawk improves to 2-1 on the season and jumps into 4th place in the West Division with the win.
I thought that we played really well. We played our game. First half, it was iffy, but we came out second half and played our game. Like Coach said, second half's always our game, so I thought we played great.
After closing out the first half, holding on to a 9-point lead, Mohawk tightened up their defense to surge ahead in the next 2 quarters. They relied heavily on their bench's performance, with the substitutes adding 40 points in the game compared to the Royals' 5. Owning the boards also played a huge factor in Mohawk's control of the game, with the Mountaineers pulling in 73 rebounds compared to Redeemers' 32. Starting point guard Rachel Abello only clocked 10 minutes of play after being carried off the court with an injury, which opened the doors for younger sister Jen Jen to add 18 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals off the bench.
It's always tough when a player falls because we're such a collective group and we rely on each other. But you know what? After the initial shock, the girls galvanized one another. They really showed their true character. I know a lot of teams maybe would have folded at that point. We just kept the momentum going. And together they pulled out and had a great victory.
The Mountaineers look to keep that momentum going in the upcoming week as they take on 2 tough division opponents. The ladies head to Sheridan to take on the Bruins on November 11th and head home to face off against Lambton on Friday, November 14th. Both games will tip off at 6 p.m. Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Sean Marenka.
The Mohawk men's varsity basketball team conquered the Redeemer Royals, pulling in a 104-76 win. This win improves the team to 2-1 so far this season. Forward Matt Fennell dominated with 31 points and 7 rebounds. This comes after he was named OCAA Athlete of the Week after dropping 45 points against St. Clair last week. Point guard Matt Savell earned 20 points, 8 boards, and 7 assists, while center Taylor Dohanik put up a double-double with 14 points and 14 rebounds. Savell knows that the team has some much-needed work to do on defense. Having such a high-scoring game is one thing, but letting in 76 points is another.
I thought we played well on the offensive end, but we need to clean up stuff on our defense.
I thought we were strong on the fast break today and shooting from the outside and putting it inside too, but we were weak on our defense. We let them score too many points, in my opinion.
Head coach Brian Yonker told us after their 120-111 win against St. Clair that the team would be focusing on their defense. The Mountaineers have a strong offensive stride, but their rebounding and communication need work if the team plans on making it to the OCAA championships in March. So far, the team's new point guard is enjoying his first season with the Mountaineers.
Once I start getting into game mode, I feel really good. I feel really good about the season.
Savell joins the team for his first season with the Mountaineers after playing for the University of Toronto for the past 4 years. The guard has finally started to mesh with the starting lineup after scoring 23 points and 6 assists in their last game against the Saints. The Mountaineers' next home game will be on Friday, November 14th at 8 p.m. against Lambton. For Ignite Sports, I'm Carlin McGill. For more information on the Mountaineers, you can visit the OCAA website at www.ocaa.com.
And that's all for your Ignite News this week. I'm Nick Heinnap.
And I'm Kareem Mosna.
For more news, go to ignitenews.ca. We'll see you next time.